Hey everybody, Jim the Tabletop Engineer here, and welcome to a new playthrough video. I am going to be continuing my play of Arkham Horror, the card game. This is the Learn to Play rulebook from the core set. You can buy the core set, and it comes with enough cards. It comes with 5 investigators. It's really, I think it's only meant to be a 4-player game, however. And of course, you get the rule books, you get tokens and cards for the scenarios. I have gone ahead and played the Night of the Zealot scenario, or it's a series. It's a 3-part mini campaign, and you can watch that. It's one of the earlier Arkham Horror videos, card game videos that I shot. But I'm really excited about this one. This one is the start for me of one of their new campaigns, Fantasy Flight's called Edge of the Earth. Right here. This is just the lid. The box is right here. This is the campaign box. Fantasy Flight has decided to take a different path with this game and a few of their other games. What they're doing is, it used to be that you would buy a campaign, and it would come with, like, I think the first 3 parts, and it also came with some investigator decks. What they've done is they've divided it up. Now you will buy a campaign box, and you can buy an investigator box. So there is an Edge of the Earth investigator box that comes with, I think, 5 investigators. Since this is the second version, or the updated core set, Fantasy Flight isn't making players of the game rebuy everything. So if you, for example, want to buy the Dunwich Legacy, which is the next one that came out after this in this new format, you can buy just the box, which has just the game, the scenarios in it, and ignore the investigator box because you may already have those investigators if you bought it previously. Or a friend of yours may have them, and you just want to play the game, but maybe you can borrow their investigator decks. Either way, I'm going to be playing Edge of the Earth, but I'm not going to be playing it with the Edge of the Earth investigators. I have not purchased that deck. Instead, I want to play with 2 characters that I've been very interested in playing with for some time. I'm going to be playing Harvey Walters, who is sort of this, he's called the Professor. He's this aged, learned man from Miskatonic University. And in my story, he's going to be going along on this adventure with Nathaniel Cho, who is he's a boxer from Arkham. He's more of a fighter, not a researcher, not a investigator, so to speak. But he's going to be acting as the bodyguard of Harvey. And I have in my mind this backstory of how these two came together. I read a lot of the Arkham Horror fiction, which that's a whole other rabbit hole to go down. But these are 2 characters that are sold as individual investigator decks. I think they're like $16 each. You can typically buy them at a gaming store. What's interesting about them is they come with a deck ready to go. They also come with extra cards that are upgrades to the cards in the deck. So as you get XP, you'll be able to upgrade the deck. But right out of the start, the Harvey Walters and the Nathaniel Cho decks are ready to go. They're ready to play. And so normally when I play a solo game, I play a solo game. And Arkham Horror can be played solo, meaning I could just play with Harvey Walters, or I could play with Nathaniel Cho. But this is what they call two-fisting it. But what I'm going to be doing in this campaign is I'm going to be running 2 characters. It may make the game go a little longer. It's definitely going to make it more dangerous. More tokens will have to be added because a lot of the game is based on how many investigators are being played. So clues and damage and things like that can sometimes be bumped up based on the number of investigators. Now, Edge of the Earth is based on a story of H.P. Lovecraft's called At the Mountain of Madness. And I tell you this because it is one of my favorite stories of H.P. Lovecraft's. It's lengthy. It's a very long story. It covers this exploratory group from Miskatonic University that goes to Antarctica, and they're going there to drill some core samples to find out how things that happened millions of years ago or hundreds of thousands of years ago. And in the story, during their investigation, they stumble upon some strange formations in the land. They stumble upon some strange writing, some strange I don't want to give too much away. It's just a really cool story. I've read it a number of times, but I'm telling you this because this is my only push for if you are a big Arkham Horror fan or a big H.P. Lovecraft fan and you want to play Edge of the Earth, you may want to check this out. This is a series of 2 books. I've had these for a while. Actually, this one just came out. Part 2 just came out not too long ago, but I've had Part 1 for a while. These are from Free League. Free League is the publisher of many games like Alien, RPG. I just go and blank on a bunch, but they publish a lot of games. But what they did was they took the story at the Mountains of Madness, they broke it into 2 parts because it is a lengthy story, and they hired an artist. Let me give you his name. His name is Francois Berenger. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Berenger. There you go. And the entire story is nothing but just amazing artwork. Some of this artwork is very reminiscent of the Arkham Horror Fantasy Flight artwork. It's just, look at this. If you are wanting some visuals as you play this game, for how things are going, look at this. Plane flying into a storm. You cannot go wrong with these 2 books. Just to have them as a fan of Lovecraft and the story, I highly recommend them. I will put links to these books in the video description below. But enough of that. Let's get to play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the play area set up, and we're going to play, or I'm going to be playing through the first scenario called Ice and Death, I believe. Ice and Death. Ice and Death is the first scenario, and it's broken into 3 parts. Depending on how long it takes to play part 1, this video may be just for part 1, or it may be part 1 and 2, or it could be part 1, 2, and 3. I just don't know. Have not played this scenario ever, haven't seen it played, haven't watched any playthrough videos on the internet or YouTube. So this is brand new to me. So let me go ahead and get the table set up. We'll do a slight pause while I get my Harvey Walter and Nathaniel Cho decks ready, and we will get started to be playing Edge of the Earth, the Arkham Horror card game. First off, I'm playing on standard mode. Not easy, not hard, just standard. These are the Chaos tokens that I'll be using, and I'm adding in one of these Frost tokens right here that the rules say to go in for this first scenario. You just put 1 in. So all of these are going to go into the Chaos bag. These will be the tokens that I pull out instead of rolling dice. Shake it up a little bit. All right, the next thing is this adventure tells the story of an expedition following up that first Antarctic expedition. Those 2 books I mentioned, that's the first expedition, and things didn't go well. So Miskatonic University is planning a second one. And with this second expedition, you pick your investigators, and there's a story, and I'm not going to get into the story because it covers quite a few pages of narrative. It's almost like a choose-your-own-adventure. You read a little bit of narrative, and then you make a decision, and then you go on to it'll tell you where to go read next. And as you read it, it tells this story. So one of the initial offers to me was, let's try and talk the people out of doing this expedition versus let's do it. Playing Harvey, I'm assuming one of his colleagues was on that expedition. So I chose the option to, let's do this. Let's go explore and find out what happened. And then following that, a series of events have led up where I'm on a ship. The ship is going to Antarctica. Certain things happen. I land. Then I need to get on an airplane to get to a certain location. And it's during this part of the scenario that something really bad happens. In this game, there are, if I can find them, right here, there are a number of assistants. These are people that are also on the expedition. These are called asset cards. And there are, I believe, 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them. And unfortunately, spoiler alert here, don't listen if you don't want to know. During the flight, you hit some turbulence, the plane goes down, and one of these people dies. So it basically says you just shuffle it, gather the 9 story assets from the expedition team, and choose one of them at random. The chosen character was killed in the plane crash. Now, among these characters, I mean, every one of them, you don't want to lose any of them. Some of them are, good with weapons. Some of them are good with navigation. There's the captain of the expedition, or the leader of the expedition. They all have various abilities that you can call upon, because when you play, you're allowed to pick one of these to go along with a hero. So technically, I can pick 2. If you die, that one dies. If they get killed during the expedition, they're out. They're out of the game forever. So you got to be careful. All right, so here's 9. I'm just going to shuffle it again and pick one. Let's go with this one. James Cookie Fredericks. Dubious choice. He has a weapon. So he's got ammo. Fight with a base fight skill of 5. So he is a fighter, and I hate to have lost him. So he is out of the expedition. And what I will do is there is a sheet that comes with the game where you track your progress. It looks like these 2 pages. And over here, Cookie's one of these. He's right here, right there, the second from the bottom. I will mark him as deceased. And if any of these others take damage or horror, it carries over. So I'll be recording my information on these sheets and including a scanned PDF of them with this video. So you'll be able to follow along as I play. All right, let me get the play area set up with my investigators and the locations that I'll be investigating, and we'll get started. All right, let's get this expedition started. Henry and Nathaniel are going to start at the crash site, so I can go ahead and reveal that. And of course, it connects to these 3 locations, which are not yet revealed. I've got Treacherous Path, Precarious Ice Sheet, and Frozen Shores that all connect. And it looks like all 3 of these are connected too, so I don't have to go through the crash site like if I'm here, I don't have to go one move, 2 move. I can go straight to here, so that's good to know. All right, so let's go ahead and draw our cards. Each investigator is starting with 5 resources, and I have selected Dr. Mala Senna, who can heal. She gets 3 resources. Each one can be used to heal 2 damage. And Nathaniel's assistant or partner is Alaya Ashevak. He can evade. He's a dog handler. So as an action, he gets a base skill of 5 for evasion. Or agility, excuse me. That's pretty cool. But it's only for evading, nothing else. Okay. All right, let's see. I've shuffled the deck. Let me draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get to put aside any weakness cards and sub them in. Do I have any weaknesses? I do not. I would like to keep that. After you draw during your turn, play it. Interesting. Okay, well, I didn't draw it, so I'll put that one aside. That one's too expensive. Choose an investigator plus 2 skill of your choice. Ooh, I like that one. So I'm gonna get rid of these 3 and draw 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And I, of course, got a weakness. So you cannot get a weakness for your starting hand. So I put that in and draw another card. Let's see. Is that true? Put obsessive into play. You win your turn begins discard 1 random. No, that is not true. That is not true. That's only before the mulligan. So which one of these did I draw? I think I drew Vault of Knowledge. So I do have to keep that. That's not cool. So I've already automatically got a weakness in play. So it's forced. When my turn begins, I have to discard 1 non-weakness card from my hand, but I can spend 2 actions to get rid of the weakness, which is probably what I'm going to have to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's already down a card. Nathaniel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully I don't get a weakness. These cards are all messed up. None of them are weaknesses. Let's see. I like that one. I like that one. Choose an enemy at your location. Move that enemy location, engage and tag it. Now I'll discard that one. Keep that one. So I'm going to discard 2 and draw 2 new ones. 1, 2. Neither one of them is a weakness, which is good. Excellent. Okay. Time to go. All right. So let's check it out. The crash site says there are no clues to be obtained here, and it's got a shroud of 2. Test knowledge or agility 3 to scavenge from the wreckage. If you succeed in the supplies recovered section, record spare parts. Okay. Who's got, let's see, book or agility? I've got agility 2, book of 2. Obviously, Henry, book of 5. So he's going to do this, and it's versus 3. So let's see if he has anything that will help him with that. 5 versus 3 is not bad, but I'd like it to be a little better. I'm going to use this, which costs 0. I'm doing an investigate. When this action begins, gain 2 resources. So I get 2 resources, and I get +1 on his book. So it's 6 versus 3. That's not bad. I'll take those odds. By the way, I should have showed you. There's a new token in here called it's a snowflake. And if I draw it, it's -1 on the test that I'm doing. You have to put it back in and draw another one. So it automatically hurts you. And you can add more snow. There are things that will add more snow tokens to this. So right now there's only 1 in here. So I'm doing 6 versus 3. Come on. The skull is -X. X is half the shelter value rounded up. Well, the shelter here is 0. So he passed the test, which means I get something called spare parts. I have a little whiteboard over here. I'll just go ahead and write spare parts to remember that I have it. Okay. I don't know what they were good for, but I assume they come in later in the game. So his first action was to investigate. Let's see. Anything else I can do? I'm going to go ahead and play an ally for 4. I'll spend the 4 to get her out. Because it says after you reveal a location or put a new location into play, exhaust her, search the top 6 cards for a tome or relic and draw it, then shuffle the deck. So I like that. That's good. So his second action was to play this. His third action will be to reveal a location. Where do I want to go? That's the frozen shores, precarious ice sheets, or treacherous path. We know this is dangerous. Let's go treacherous path. That sounds... Do I want to do that? He's got good health, though. He's 7 and 8 versus 9 and 6. So I'm okay. And he's got a doctor along with him. So for his third action, he will move here, which reveals this, which has 1 clue per investigator. So it gets 2 clues. And it says forced. After you reveal 1 or more snow tokens during a skill test at treacherous path, you take a damage. Ooh, so I don't want to stay on treacherous path for very long. If you happen to be here and there's any treachery cards, you can take damage if you draw certain things. All right, so his third action was to reveal it. However, with Witten, after you reveal location, exhaust her, search the top 6 cards for a tome or relic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. Hopefully there's a tome. Ooh, there is a tome. Is there a relic? No. No. All right. So, and then what does it say? It says draw it, shuffle, search the top 6 cards, and draw it. Shuffle your deck. Okay, so I have to shuffle the deck back again. And but that's cool. He's got a tome, and tomes really help Harvey with his investigation skill. They're really awesome to do. And that one only costs 1 to put into play, so that's good. It won't be too much to get him in. All right, so I shuffled his deck. He's got this in his hand, Solano fragments. No idea. Sounds cool. All right, he is done. He is exhausted. Now Nathaniel is his bodyguard. I could send Nathaniel to one of these because, oh, by the way, I forgot to do this. I should read the agenda, and the act. All right, for agenda 1, this isn't exactly how you imagine your first foray into the Antarctic wilds. The stinging cold and lashing frozen winds will only get worse over time. Forced. After a location is entered by an investigator for the first time, put into play each set-aside location connected to that location. Oh, that's a good reminder. So now that he's here, it will reveal a new location or two that I can then put into play. The act. Search for a campsite. There's no number here for tokens, and it's only one card. So you're going to have to find a way back to camp, and soon, or you'll have to make do camping in the wild. For an action, if each investigator is at the same location, and that location has no clues on it, you can resign. You set up camp there. Objective, find somewhere safe to set up camp. If each undefeated investigator has resigned, you advance, which means we move on from this. The higher the shelter value of the location they resigned at, the better. What does that mean, shelter location? Oh, that's right, shelter. So this one has a shelter of 0. This one has a shelter of 1, which I don't know how high these numbers go. Shelter 2, is that the best you can do? Shelter 5, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, okay. So he revealed a new location. Let's see. Which one is it? It's not that one. Not that one. Not that one. It's this green one. Rocky Crags, and it's still locked. So I'll put it right here, and that's a new location. Okay. So he's exhausted. He's done. And what? All right. So Nathaniel can. I want to keep him here after you reveal one or more tokens. Okay, so he'll move 1. I might as well start revealing locations so I can figure out where the shelters are, but that means I should have sent him that away because the doctor can keep going this way. But I also say I don't want to split I traditionally do not like to split my investigators. So I'm trying to keep them together. So I will keep him here. That moved 1. I'm going to move him this way. And then if there's anything bad, he can come back. So I moved here. So that means I reveal this. And it says, as an additional cost for you to enter this location, investigators at your location must spend 1 clue as a group. What? As an additional cost for you to enter the... Okay, so I can't enter there. All right, so let me send him back. So it takes clues to move him there, and it takes 2 clues to move him. I don't have any clues. Well, I do have 2. But unfortunately, Harvey is done, so he can't investigate. I guess we could try it. Nathaniel's investigate is 2 versus 2. He's not very good at investigating. Let's see. Do I have anything that'll help that? I do not. Although I do have Monster Slayer, which gives me +1. I could contribute it to get him up to 3, and that's not a good... I don't like that. So I said, instead what I'm going to do is all right, for his first action, he moved. Second action, he'll draw a card. Of course, he draws his Treachery. Revelation, put it into play. Forced, when you deal 1 or more damage to an enemy, take a damage. I can get rid of this for 2 actions. All right, so they both have their treacheries out. And I guess for his third and final, I'll draw another card, which is Boxing Gloves. That's good. I will probably need those eventually. They deal extra. They give him extra fight. So that is it for him. Let's see. That means, well, there's only 2. That'll get 1 person here, so that means I'm going to have to go this way to investigate. Okay, let's do this. It is now the creature phase. There are no creatures, which is good. Now it is upkeep phase. So you ready all cards. So I ready those. They each draw a card. He drew Cryptic Writing, which immediately says after you draw it, play it. So I play it, which says you gain 2 resources. So that one goes here, and I get 2 resources. Wow. After you draw, play it, and you gain 2 resources. Okay. So anyway, and then he draws a card which is an ally. Okay, so he's got an ally. Now it is the Mythos phase. You add a Doom token. This one has a limit of 4. So when I get 4 Doom tokens, that one will flip and move on to something that I probably don't like, something more dangerous. Now, I need to shuffle this deck. I forgot to shuffle it. The Encounter deck has some really... Oh, there's another deck I need to shuffle too and explain. So the Encounter deck, 1 card per investigator will get drawn. And then this deck right here, let me explain. This one stays face down. This is called the Let me look at it. The Tekeli Lee deck. It's a bunch of curses and bad things that happen in the cold. You're not supposed to look at it. If it tells you to draw a Tekeli card, you draw it and shuffle it into your deck without looking at it. So you don't even know what you're getting. All right, so Henry went first, so he'll draw the first card, which is Through the Ice. Attached to the nearest location without a copy of this. So it gets this. As an additional cost for you to enter or leave this location, you must test 2 agility. If you fail, cancel the effect, take a damage in horror, and then discard it. All right, so that sucks. And then Nathaniel drew an Ancient Evil. Place 1 Doom token on the agenda. Great. So the agenda's already up to 2 Doom. All right, that's it. So these cards, I refresh these, and it is now... my turn. I can't move here without investigating. Let's go see how many tokens are here. Henry, all right, he can't move here without taking damage. Actually, let's move Nathaniel because he's got more health. I'm going to move Nathaniel 1. Now I have to test 2 agility. His agility is 2. I don't have anything to help agility, I believe. Let's see. Actually, I do. I have a dodge. I can go 3 versus 2, which is not very... And I could test Monster Slayer, so I could throw in 2 cards. This is a wild and 1 agility, so that would bump it up to 4 to 2. I like that odds, so I'll do that. 4 to 2, 4 versus 2. If you fail, and then if you fail, cancel the effects of the move, take 1 damage, and then discard. So I don't get to discard it if I fail it, so maybe I want to fail it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take these back. I may pass it, but I don't want to contribute any cards, because if I fail it, of course I didn't fail it. That's this is +1. If this skill test is successful, return an event from your discard to your hand. Well, I don't have it. Oh, I do have an event, and they're called Get Over Here. Return it to your hand. Okay. And he passed it, so he didn't take any damage. I wanted him to take damage. If you fail, cancel the effect, take damage, and discard it. So this goes back in. He moved without a problem. That's 1 action. He reveals this. Let's spin that over. This one is 1 clue per person. Okay, per adventure, per investigator. Frozen Shores gets +2 Shroud if an encounter card is attached to it. So there's no encounter card, which is good. So 1, does he want to... Oh, wait, let's hold on. This one links to a new location. Broad Snowdrifts. Okay, so he's here. Let's reveal, and the shelter here is 2. That's better. So maybe I want a shelter here. Okay, let's move. So 1, 2, that will reveal this one. This one gets 2 clues per investigator, so it gets 4. Oh, its shelter's 4. That's even better. All right, and then when you successfully investigate this, add a snow token. Discover 3 additional clues at broad. So wow, that's good. So if he discovers 1, he gets 3, but he adds a snow token. Its shroud is 1, so he moved. He's got 1 action. Let's see if I can do this. So his investigate is 2 versus 1. Do I have anything to help him? I do actually. I got an ally, a Monster Slayer, and a Monster Slayer. So I could bump that up. 1, 2, 3, 5 to 1. I like those odds. I want this. When you successfully investigate, Add 1 snow. Okay, so that's cool. So let's investigate. 5 versus 1. Let's get it. 5 minus 2 is 3, so I get the token. And then it says, when you successfully investigate it, add 1 snow. Okay. Here's what the snow token looks like. So I'm going to put an extra one in the bag. And then discover 3 additional clues. 1, 2, 3. Nice. That was an easy way to get clues. So at least now I have enough to get up to here and reveal, well, but this is shelter 4. That seems pretty high. That seems pretty good. I mean, it goes 0, 2, 1, and then it jumps from 2 to 4. But this one reveals a new location. Let's see. It's the little tan mark. Snow graves. That doesn't sound good. As an additional cost for you to enter this location, investigators must spend two per investigator, so 4 clues. As an additional cost for you to enter, investigators must spend 4 clues. So you guys spend 4 to get into here. Golly, that's a lot. I got to spend 4 clues, which I just got to get down to here. All right, so he moved and investigated. So that's the end of his turn. So he can't go see what's down here. Sorry, you can't see this card. Snowgraves is attached to. Let me scoot these up a little bit. There's a new location here called Snowgraves. He's at Broad Snowdrifts. So, man. Okay, I spent that, and this one is here. All right. All right, so Henry's turn. If he needs to move down here, which I think he does, he needs to stay, although as an additional cost for an enter or leave, he's going to have to do an Agility 2 test to move. Does he move here, or does he move here? From here to here. I don't have enough. Well, I can spend. No, it says at your location. Investigators at your location must spend clues as a group. So they both have to be here in order to do that. So as an additional cost to enter this location, investigators at your location must spend clues as a group. So they both have to be here in order for one of them to go here. All right, so he's going to move here, and the question is whether he takes damage. So Agility 2 test. Let me see, does he have anything for Agility? He has 1 wild card, which is the Encyclopedia, but I don't want to burn that. So he'll do it. 2 versus 2. Got to break even here. 2 versus 2, and I drew a -4. So he failed it. So I take a damage and a horror. Okay, 1 damage. 1 horror onto Harvey. And this goes away. Okay, well, that's good. Got rid of that. So he moved. That's 1. He needs those clues, though, doesn't he? Because in order to get into here, he's going to need more clues. I should have gotten those 2. Oh, well. All right, well, let's see. That's 1, 2... And then, as an additional cost for you to enter this location, investigators must spend 4 clues as a group. So I'm going to see what's here and move. I'm going to try to move him here and spend these 4. I hope I'm not making a mistake here. So he's now here. This one has 2 clues per. All right, so that's not bad. A shroud of 3. After you discover the last clue from Snowgraves, shuffle the top 3 cards of the Kelly deck into your deck without looking at 3 cards. In the supplies recovered section of the record green soapstone. And you can only do this once per campaign. And it's got a shelter of 5. And there's no more locations to go to. I've gone as far that direction as I can. So my guess is, if shelter 5 is the limit, that's probably going to be 5. Maybe, well, it went 2, 4, 5, so it goes 2, 1. I don't know. I don't know. So the question is, do I want to shelter in here? Because I need 4 clues to move him into here, which I can do. All right, 1, 2. No, he moved 1. He moved 2. He moved 3. So his turn is done. Harvey is done. Sorry, I need to move this where you can see it. Harvey's location is done. He can't do anything more. That is the end of that. That's the end of that turn. It is now the creature phase. There are no creatures. That's good. When you turn discard. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do. Forgot to discard a card because of the weakness. So let's see. Let's just mess. I don't even remember what I have here. So let's get rid of this one. And of course, I got rid of the tome, which was a good card to have. And then his second action. This was round 2 because there's 2 Doom tokens, so he should have discarded 1 more. I'll get rid of Encyclopedia. I've got to get rid of these weaknesses. Fortunately, his doesn't do anything until he does damage, but this one causes me to keep discarding cards. All right, so that is the end of the creature phase. Now it's upkeep. I draw a card. Nathaniel got a Relentless, and I got an Arcane Enlightenment. So nothing bad. And they each get a resource. 1 card, 1 resource. Now it is the Mythos phase. Put a curse. There's 3 now. This is not good. Draw a card. Who went first? Nathaniel went first. A Paraphobia. Revelation. Test Will X, where X is your current location's shelter value, which is 4. If you fail, you have to... Oh, there's a bunch of bad stuff. Let's go ahead and see if I pass it. So Will is 3, so he's automatically failing it because shelter 4. But I could draw the +1. There's a couple +1s in here. But let's see if I have anything to help Will. I do. I've got 1, 2, 3. Got 3 cards I can do. So his will is 3, and I'm going against 4. So 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't believe I'm getting rid of all these cards, but I don't want to lose this because there's a lot of bad stuff. If I lose, I either take 1 horror by each point I fail, or I place 2 clues, 2 of your clues on your location. I don't have any clues, so that might be the better one. Or I add a snow token. So maybe I'll do the place 2 of your clues because I don't have any to place. So maybe that goes away. Anyway, all right. So I'm up to I added what 1, 2, 3. So his will is 6 versus 4. 6-0. I win. So I defeated this. I don't have to do anything. So that's good. It is now the investigator's turn. All right, now what am I going to do here? And I've got to get clues to get Nathaniel into Snowgraves so that I can get the shelter of 5. Or do I go back in and take the shelter of 4? And I'm safe, and I won't have taken any of those Tekeli things. By the way, the Tekeli curse things or whatever, if they go into your deck, they stay in your deck until they're played, and then they go. So this says I would have to put 3 of them into my deck. The question is that shelter 5 versus shelter 4? Is that worthwhile? Because right now I could move into here for shelter 4. And I could do that. And I could stop here and resign because this is getting ready to flip over. I'm going to do that. He is going to move here. That's 1 action. And it says if each... Oh, you know what? I'm going to use... Okay, it says... As an action, if each investigator is at the same location, and that location has no clues on it, it does not, you can resign. The objective is to resign at the camp location with the highest location value, or shelter value. And this says 4. I am not going to take any chances here. I get so nervous about this game. So I'm going to move here, and they're in the same location. There are no clues. I am resigning. Find somewhere safe to set up camp. If each undead veteran is resigned, advance. So when I'm in advance, let me flip this over. Exhausted and terrified by your ordeal, you decide this is as good a place as any to make camp for the night. Perhaps tomorrow you can salvage some kind of academic value out of this hellish journey, but for now such things seem trivial. Survival is the only thing on your mind. And it says to go read R1, which, let me do that. So R1, I just did Resolution 1. Okay. Resolution 1. As you make camp, you are haunted by memories of the creatures you encountered in the icy wilds. Well, I don't remember it. Such entities should not exist. Not even Dyer's report mentions anything of the kind. Grim silence settles over the expedition team as you set up shelter. No one speaks of what they saw in the frozen wilderness. No one speaks of the awful sounds the monsters made. You can only hope that this camp is secluded enough to avoid the attention of those things, whatever they may be. Well, that's interesting because I never really encountered any monsters out of here, but it kind of plays like you did. All right, in your campaign log, write camp, and next to it, record the name of the location the investigators resigned at. I resigned at Broad Snowdrifts. This location is referred to as the investigators' camp for the remainder of Ice and Death campaign. Record the camp's shelter value in parentheses next to its name. Each investigator earns experience equal to the camp's shelter value to a minimum of 3. So each one gets 4 XP, plus the victory X of any victory cards, which I don't believe I got any victory cards. I did not. In the expedition team section of the campaign log, record the amount of damage and horror on each partner asset. Well, took none. And then it says, proceed to checkpoint 1, the disappearance. Okay. Do not clean up the game yet. Interesting. Okay, so checkpoint 1 looks like the game will continue. I'm going to leave this here because I'm going to end this video. And in my next video, I will pick up playing checkpoint 1. All right, there you go. The expedition has started. It wasn't that bad. Knock on wood. I suspect that this first scenario, being that you just crashed and you lost a crew member, and it's probably just supposed to be a race against time to find shelter. Although I think there are monsters in there, and luckily I never encountered any. I did take some damage, but I believe this carries over to the next thing. I'll have to read that. But fortunately, neither of my partners took any damage. I can switch them out, I believe, for the next part. But again, I'll read and check that out. Or I can keep them. All right, that's all for this game. Again, I'll be back soon with another recording of Arkham Horror, the card game, where I continue on the expedition into checkpoint 1 called The Disappearance. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me, and everybody take care.